Thank you for listening to Comics for Fun and Profit. This is Kyle and Drew and Eric with your sneak peek at next week, episode number 447. We're going to be talking about comics originally releasing March 21st, 2018. But before we get into what's coming out in your local comic shops this coming Wednesday, we got all kinds of stuff to talk about before we get into that, right, Drew?
Oh, man. We had some great feedback. Some of the stuff we didn't get to last week because it was a shorter show. So we're gonna take care of some of the feedback this week, and we appreciate everybody who took the time to send us an email, comicsforfunandprofit@gmail.com, or hit us up on Twitter /comicsfunprofit or facebook.com/ what is it, Kyle? Comics for Fun and Profit? Is that what it is?
I don't know, marketing guy. Why don't these all have the same title?
I don't know. It was a struggle. Anyway, you can find us. You can find all our links at comicsfunprofit.com. But we want to first thank Ruben Cintron, who sent us an email. Hey, are you familiar with pre-selling on eBay? I recently had a few posts removed due to the fact that I couldn't guarantee shipping within 30 days of the sale. Meanwhile, there are tons of pre-sale posts all over eBay, none of which guarantee shipping within 30 either. First time I'm pre-selling, just thought you might have more info. Hey, it happened to me too, Ruben. I was pre-selling my sweet Del Auto of Amazing Spider-Man 800, and the good folks at eBay yanked it down. So, Eric, you got a little more experience with that. What's the deal?
Yeah, so one of the eBay selling policies that they have is that when an item sells, it's supposed to ship within 30 days. However, like Ruben pointed out, there are tons of people that do pre-sales that go way out beyond the 30 days. We have stuff that gets yanked down because we'll put stuff up before then. And it's one of those things where you get, I don't know, it's a somewhat threatening letter from eBay or a kind of a very terse wording of that you can't do that, and your seller portal or whatever could be suspended or put into kind of a bad state or something. But what we basically do is for items that we're pre-selling, which none of these things that we've put on special pricing we are pre-selling. We don't have any of those out right now. What we do is we kind of have it set so that if we're going to put something up and we get 2 of those notes, then we stop posting that stuff until we get within 30 days. Tons of other people do it. We don't know the full rhyme or reason as to how or why some of the groups seem to not get yanked either as much or get yanked at all. But what we have figured out is that things that will trip the eBay auto sniffers are things like the words pre-sale and pre-sell, and other pieces like that. So what we try and do is focus more on just saying what the content of the item is, and certainly it's one of those things where you want to be honest and say, well, it's shipping on this date, but just putting in wording to the effect of we ship as soon as product is received, or something similar to that. Now, most people that are buying comic books pre-ordered are going to understand that there's a date that they come out. The other thing you can do is if an item sells, you can always follow up and send a note to the actual buyer and say, this book is due to be released on May 30th, and I'll be shipping it out, within 3 or 5 business days from then, however it's going to be. So it's one of those things where it's a pain in the butt and everybody does it. The frustration is that there's some big outfits on there that have everything up there all the time as soon as previews is out, and it doesn't seem like their stuff gets yanked. So you just kind of got to fight through it. And, I think some of the people that have taken advantage of our offer have done pretty well already on pre-selling the book. So it's one of those things where, persistence reaps rewards.
Now, do you think would you recommend taking the word pre-sale out of it and then just going with the note afterwards? Oh, by the way, this isn't out right now. That would be kind of dangerous, wouldn't it, for your seller?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, we tend to use pre-sale in there just because it's kind of that honesty thing. So we'll say.
Do you put it in the title or put it in the body description?
We put it in the description usually.
That's probably where I messed up. I put it in the title.
Yeah.
So, rookie mistake.
Especially if you put the date inside it somewhere of when it's actually going to be on sale, that's easy for them to catch and calculate the 30 days. Because you have to remember, they don't have a human or even a monkey that's sitting there reading every single listing looking for it. There's an algorithm that they're running that is, checking how everything is checking all the descriptions, the titles, things like that, and looking for key phrases and words. So, being thorough and complete with what the process is, that you'll ship it as soon as it's available and stuff like that. Any shipping terms you may have, all those pieces, that's all good to have. But yeah, it's a luck of the draw. It's a weird thing, and we deal with it too all the time.
But most likely, you're not going to get kicked out of eBay if you do it a couple of times.
No, like I said, we usually do it until we get 2 strikes, and then we'll stop on that item. We've never pushed it beyond that just because we don't know, but I have to imagine some people have pushed it a lot farther.
Well, I hope that helps. So persistence is key, and keep trying, and maybe word it in the description as a pre-sale, and maybe don't put a specific date in there that can be calculated, and then have a note saying you'll follow up with the purchase with the exact date of delivery or something like that. So the buyer knows what's going on, and the eBay monkeys can't get you. Maybe.
Yep.
Maybe that'll work. Rock Langlois. I bet you that's not how he pronounces his last name, but I'm going to try it anyway. Rock Langlois. Hello, Drew. Are you aware of this? I think it's very cool. And I dropped the link to Skype for you guys. It is the new Black Label imprint for DC. So he's very excited about 2 new Batman series that sound very interesting, to say the least. So yeah, we've all been kind of checking out these edgy and provocative DC Black Label imprints. Basically, they're going to be, can you call it Elseworld stuff? That's out of continuity for DC,
yeah.
But it's going to be the main characters and telling stories that artists and writers want to tell without having to worry about any kind of repercussions.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like it's kind of like Marvel Max, but not, because Marvel Max was still, a lot of that was in continuity, but it takes off some of the shackles, and I think we might see a bit more. There's mature content in the mainline DC books in some instances, but I think, if you look at some of the stuff in Marvel Max, like Bendis's Alias run, which I actually just read, was quite good. There's frequent F-bombs and things like that, and I'm not saying that the whole point of this DC Black Label is to allow that, but I think that the writers are going to be a little more unrestrained to be able to go through what they want to do, and some of these stories are going to be, like you said, they're going to be out of continuity. They're going to be maybe an else world, a different world. It may just be something where it's kind of I don't know if it's going to be like a Jack Kirby where we kind of go into a fourth world type idea where they create their own universes. We'll see kind of how it goes, but I'm definitely excited about it.
Yeah.
We're just being free from event tie-ins, hopefully.
What is it?
Just being free from event tie-ins. Like these, hopefully, if they want to do something crossover-wise in Marvel proper, or in DC proper, then you'll know you have a line of things that won't get sidetracked while we take everybody in one foul group off to do something.
Yeah. Here's some of the titles, and tell me what you think. We've got Superman Year One from Frank Miller and John Romita. That sounds really good.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty darn good right off the bat. We've got Batman Last Night on Earth from Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. Yes, probably going to be good. Batman Damned from Brian Azzarello and Lee Bermejo.
Yeah, this one looks good to me.
We got Wonder Woman Historia, The Amazons, Kelly Sue DeConnick and Phil Jimenez. I'd probably check that out. Wonder Woman Diana's Daughter is a working title from Greg Rucka and an artist to be announced, and Greg Rucka finds good artists, so that's probably going to be darn good. The Other History of DC Universe by John Ridley and an artist to be announced. What is that about?
Well, this one says that it's a literary series, so I don't know if that means it's going to be more like a light novel or what.
A lot of reading. A lot of book reading. Well, I don't know about that. Well, that one might be the one that I don't. But those other ones all sound really good, and I'm in. So thank you, Rock, for that. We'll definitely be checking that out. He also wants to thank us for the shout out on the last podcast. The last show was, and he's talking about the last show Eric was on. What can I say? The last show was, what can I say? Very complete and instructive. Almost 2 hours. It's always interesting to have Mike from Cowabunga on your podcast. Well, it's Eric.
You call me whatever you want. I don't care.
He also asked us about if we had ever purchased any of these tin. Let me drop these in here real quick. They're
are these the tin signs?
The tin cover collection.
Yeah.
He was specifically looking at one that was a Superman cover, and it looks like DC's going to have a series of these coming out. They retail for $10, I believe. Of course, Cowabunga has a discount for you if you go through them. And he's not even sure what the size of them, if they're the size of a comic book, and if there's like a limited print run. He wasn't sure about that. And he also was wondering if they would ever have any value long term for investments. He's thinking he's going to buy them either way for a nice decoration and to put on his walls of his comic room. But do you know anything about these? Have they done these before? I don't know if I've seen them or not.
So I know that plenty of other groups have licensed both DC and Marvel images and made the tin signs. Now, I'm looking actually at the diamond here. I can show y'all's. I'm looking at the diamond site right now, and it is not giving me any dimensions. Sometimes they give us dimensions on products, sometimes they don't. So I'm not 100% sure what it looks like. As far as size goes, the covers obviously are cool. Like the Superman one, I think he's alluding to is the Death of Superman, and then the Batman one was a Hush cover.
They're full color?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was thinking they'd be like metallic versions of them. Well, that's kind of neat too.
I think they're more like a matte finish. They're pretty cool. A lot of the ones that I've seen have been kind of in the what's the normal size? Like not the size of a comic book art page, a little bit smaller. So I don't know if that's like a 14 by 10 or something like that. Okay. So that tends to be the size that I see them at the most. Being that they're $9.95 retail price, that's to me pretty cheap because a lot of these you see are like $15-$20. So they could be a little bit smaller. I don't have exact dimensions on it, unfortunately. I'm sorry. But yeah, I think they're cool. As far as collector's items, I'm going to hedge my bet to say no, they're not going to be something that you would maybe want to spec on. I think that they're cool items, but because they're, just printed facsimiles on tin covers, I don't think that it's something that you're going to see a big spike in value of. Now, on top of that, these are not being done directly by DC, or they're just licensed to Eagle Moss, who creates a lot of the small figures and stuff like that, really high detailed figures. But so the Eagle Moss company has usually prints a good amount of their products. So if they get pre-orders for 5,000, they may print 10,000. Some of the Eagle Moss products sell out right away, but most of their products, they're available in stock for a decent amount of time. Actually, while I'm talking, I can try and pull this up. And what they'll end up doing is they will put stuff on liquidation, and it's kind of a hit or miss. And I don't know if you guys can still see my screen, but here's an example of something. It's a Star Trek Starship that has gone up on the liquidation list because it's been there for almost a year now. So we see a fair number of Eagle Moss things that come through. I think at $10, if you like the cover, and if you're buying it through us, it'd be a little bit cheaper. But I think it's definitely something worth picking up because at $10, that's better than any con dealer that you're going to see, or Hot Topic, or Spencer's, or whatever. So just from a value right there, it's definitely worth it. But I also would say if you're feeling a pinch on the dollars and you are saying, well, I hope I get one. I don't want to miss out. You probably have a couple of months on these if you wanted to, wait a month and then pick one up next month when money isn't quite as tight, if you're getting a lot of books, that kind of thing. So that's about the best that I can offer on that front.
Yeah, I think I've got a couple of the Marvel tins, but I think those were through Hobby Lobby or something like that. But they're the exact reproduction of Hulk 181 and Amazing Fantasy 15, and they're just slightly larger than an actual comic.
Right.
Yeah. I have some of those that are wooden on my wall, but I don't have anything that's metal. So that's kind of neat.
Is it Dark Knight's metal?
No, it is not. Oh. No. Wade Ledden asks, C4 FAP, since Super Sons rated T is coming to an end and being replaced with an E-rated version in the fall, should we be holding on to our complete runs for big money later, once the kids reading the new version, Volume 2, grow up and become nostalgic? Or should we be ditching them for whatever we can get for them? The number 7 B cover is one of my favorites of all time. Let me know what you think. I try not to miss a show and keep up the work. Oh, and P.S., just switched over to Cowabunga for my internet comics orders. All right, Wade. Welcome aboard, buddy. So what do we think about Super Sons? It's one of my favorite reads each and every month. I love it. So I'll probably keep mine just because it's a really nice read, and I'll wait for something else to happen to spike it to something where I sell it and then instantly regret it. So I'm going to keep mine for a while. But that's just me because I loved reading it so much. I want to keep it in my collection. What about you guys?
I like the characters enough that I'm holding on to a lot of that run. I think I like to keep, for the most part, the complete run. Same thing with my... I have half a dozen copies of the Superman 10 cover that has all them on it that I really like. I might, Price is Right, I'll fire a few of those off, but I always want to keep at least one or two of that as well. But I think they're doing neat things with these characters. I'm curious what the future really holds for them, especially with Damian's lineage up in the air a bit. So I think there's more to these characters, and you're going to want to be able to hold on to kind of the first go-round of them.
Yeah, on my side, I don't have these in my collection. I think that it's going to be a fun series to keep. However, I don't know what the long term looks like on it, because when you think about where the value sits, it's usually in the realm of first appearances, key moments, things like that. And I don't know as if this run has really had a lot of those in it. So from that standpoint, I don't think the value is super high. But this is a run that a lot of people, you guys, I think, are included in that have kind of more of almost a sentimental attachment, like I do with my Dan Slott Silver Surfer books. Those are some of my favorite Silver Surfer stories, and especially of recent time. Is there a lot of value built into those and some first appearances and stuff? No, but there's just quality writing, quality art, and it's something that I really, really like, and it's something that could turn to be a run that people seek out as a quality run in the future. So maybe instead of getting cover price for the run, maybe you're getting $15 or $20 more than cover price for the whole run. Or it could be a situation where it just stays where it is. So I think it's a quality run that if you like it, keep it. But I don't think that it's something that's going to triple in value.
Now, the first appearances of Jonathan aren't in Super Sons. Are they in
Convergence? That's in your weird Convergence that was awful. Superman Convergence number 2 is, I believe, his first appearance, and then at the beginning of the at the end of the Lois and Clark book is him as kind of Pat with powers, or with his essential his suit on, I believe.
Right. That would be the Convergence Superman number 2.
So that's like the cameo, and then the first full appearance would be that actual issue of Superman?
Well, the Convergence has the actual birth of Jonathan Kent. So you have the character, his origin, and then him as a Super Son has a different issue.
Yeah. I think, I don't think I have that. I probably should try to look that up.
Like you can buy now, like the first 14 or 15 Super Suns. I'm seeing a couple of ending listings for like $40. So as it's ending, people aren't dumping it yet. The market's not flooded with them, but as of now, you can still grab it for a fairly good price. It looks like.
Yeah, and it looks like that first appearance of Jonathan Kent is going right now. I'm seeing a bunch of listings for sale around $15 a copy.
And that was in quarter boxes not that long ago.
That's like anywhere from $10 to $15 depending on what you're getting. Yeah, it's Convergent Superman #2.
Yeah. Michael Lamb says, hope you guys ordered multiple copies of Amazing Spider-Man 798. Rumor is this will be the first full appearance of Red Goblin.
'Tis not a rumor. Marvel has confirmed.
That is confirmed, yes. And we're excited about that. And we're not the only ones that are excited about it. In fact, it is going to sell in the neighborhood of 250,000 copies. So we were hoping that we would be the smart guys that got some extra multiples, but I think everybody's trying to get multiples of this. Like maybe like thinking it's a first Deadpool or something, and there's going to be a lot of them. I don't know if 250,000 historically is a lot, but it's a lot from recent history. You got any more insight on that? People excited about it up in your shop?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where we knew that it was going to be... Each one of these ASM books has sold out instantly, so we've been slowly upping our orders, and this one we just happened to luckily really up our order on. So that was, I'm going to say, calculated sheer luck on our part. Yeah. So that's great. It's one of those things where 250,000 copies today, in today's market, yeah, that's a lot. But historically, you look at what's out there, things like New Mutants 98, I want to say that was in the multiple hundreds of thousands sold. So, I mean, it's one of those items where I think it's still going to be hot. It's going to be a hot thing. It's Dan Slott. I mean, I don't know. I'm excited for it. I know a lot of other folks are too.
Yep. He also says he's loving the Young Guns variant for $7.98 as well, which is still available for cover price, but most online retailers are selling out quickly. And this is the one, well, all these Young Gun variants, the prices are all over the place down here in our neck of the woods. Some people have them on the racks, and some people are selling them for $30. What is the real true value of the Young Guns variants? Do you have a clue on that?
Yeah, I can tell you exactly how much we pay for them. $0. These are incentive variants that Marvel has given to every retailer, and I don't know why. There was definitely a lot of frustration with Marvel, especially in the lead up to Legacy and kind of the falling flat that Legacy came out of the gates with, but boy, has it amped up in the last few months. And so long ago, we got notes that we'd be getting free variants from Marvel, and nobody knew what they were, and it turned out to be these Young Gun Virgin variants. Typically, they retail before the books come out. They're usually anywhere from $10 to $20, especially if the cover is available. If the cover's not available, then they're quiet. Some of them, when they first came out, I think the X-23 one, at one point I saw a sold listing for $80 for it. So, I mean, it's one of those things where they're kind of all over the map. I think it depends on the cover artist. It definitely depends on the cover character. So, right now, yeah, these 798s are anywhere from $8 to $10, $12 on eBay right now. And it's kind of a cool cover. I will admit that.
Yeah. They are very cool. And then, so there are Young Gun variants, and then there are Young Gun Virgin variants, which are the free retailers. Is that correct?
Right. The Virgin ones are the ones that carry the real money. The regular ones are just, they don't usually go for much more than cover, but
nice. Aaron Carson says, I freaking love your podcast. Have been listening for a while now and look forward to it as I'm driving my tanker truck down the road. Very cool. Had a question for you fellows. I heard you speaking with Cowabunga Comics and their offer of the Dell Auto ASM 800 along with a Cover A. I've never ordered from them, but would love to take them up on the offer, but I'm not sure where to order. Do you think you have a link or information? Keep up the awesome show, guys. I'll be hearing from you soon. Thanks. Well, I have just a person to ask exactly how to do that, Aaron. It's Eric here, and he can go over some of the deals he has, the best ways to reach him, and I think and kind of go over the deadline for ordering this stuff. You heard me go through it last week, and now you hear it straight from the horse's mouth this time.
Yeah, so the easiest way to do it is we actually talked to Aaron. We're all good to go with him. But basically the easiest way to do it right now is to hit us up on Facebook. So facebook.com/IncrediCow, or just search for us, Cowabunga Comics. Or you can email us, orders@Cowabunga Comics. Of course, that's with a K. But yes, we understand. We know that some people are looking for a website to go to, a webpage to go to. And I will be completely open and honest with you. When we have done pre-sales of these covers, we've traditionally done them in store to our subscribers, or we've done some on eBay. This is the first time that we've really opened it up this wide, and the response has been absolutely amazing, unbelievable. I mean, we know that the books that we're offering with these special prices for listeners of this podcast, we know that our prices are really beating the market essentially in every aspect, and we know that a lot of you are excited to get in on it, and we're just so thrilled by that. The honest to goodness truth is that we've also started up a mail order comics component to things, like similar to a DCBS or Midtown. However, we started it knowing that it was going to be essentially a proof of concept to begin with, to make sure, like, hey, is this a viable thing? And that has proven true, yes. We've expanded it, so it's no longer a proof of concept. It is an actual fully fledged item that's rocking through our business every month now. I think we're up to a little over a dozen subscribers, which is fantastic. And we do know that on the horizon, we have to have a website put out there. We do not right now. There's a lot of money that goes into creating the website, and we wanted to make sure that this component of our business model was going to take off before we invested in it. So it is on our horizon that we're going to have an ordering website put out there. But there are also a couple of other things that are going on with our business that are really exciting and awesome, that are kind of delaying our start on this website just a bit. And for that, you're going to want to listen to the next episode of the Cowcast, which, yes, will be coming out hopefully in the next week or so.
Hey,
we've got a couple of things lined up. We've had some busy months, and we'll talk about why we were so busy and what's going to be coming up in front of us. But anyway, so for those books, if you are interested in it, just shoot us a message on Facebook. Either James or I'll respond. You can shoot us that email. You can do orders@Cowabunga Comics. You can do Eric at ending with a C at Cowabunga Comics with a K, just to make sure. Some people put a K or C the other way around. But ERIC at cowabungacomics.com. Either one of those essentially will find me, and I will be more than happy to walk through everything with you. The prices are locked in and good. We're going to take pre-orders all the way up through essentially March 26th. Now, the reason that I say that, even though these books are just going for initial order, is that when we hit the initial order, we just want to have a good sense of where we are. There's a chance that we'll probably still have some variants available. So if you're listening to this after the 26th of March, or you re-listen to it, or you don't know if you can afford or want to buy the variants until after the 26th, you can still reach out to us. Chances are we'll be able to have a couple still on hand, and we'll work with you and get you that same pricing. But for the main order, we want to try and get everything in by the 26th.
That's great. I will tell you that the order form is really cool, very interactive. It's well designed, sortable, easy to fill out and send to Eric, and awesome on price breakdowns and stuff. So it may not be a website yet, but it's really, really easy to do. And if you want to port all your orders over there already, that's great. But you want to go over all the variants that you have to offer again for us, Eric?
Absolutely.
March is big for you guys.
It is. March is huge for us, which is kind of fun. This is the month that's definitely had the most variants that we're going into. So That is pretty exciting. So let's start alphabetically. We'll go with Avengers. So we have Avengers number 1. There is a Ribic variant and a McGinnis variant. Now the Ribic is, I want to say, a 1 in 50, and the McGinnis Virgin is a 1 in 100. So those are pretty easy. $50 for the Ribic variant and $100 for the McGinnis Virgin. Next, we have an Avengers number 2 Marquez variant and an Avengers 2 McGinnis Virgin variant again. The Virgin variant is, again, a 1 in 100, so a McGinnis Virgin, and that is $75. And then the Marquez variant is, I'm going to just double check really quick to make sure I don't say the wrong thing. It is a 1 in 25 variant, and that one is $20. So Avengers 1, you got a $50 1 in 50, a $100 1 in 100. Avengers 2, a $20 1 in 25, and a $75 1 in 100. Next up, we have the Black Panther books. So we have a Black Panther number 1 is launching, and we've got, I think, 4 or 5. We have a 1 in 10, which is a Yasmin Putri variant cover. That one is $10. We have the In-Hyuk Lee variant, which is one of my favorite variants right now that's out there for $20, and that is a 1 in 25 variant. We have the Art Germ Virgin. So the Art Germ variant, the Art Germ cover is the main A cover for the book, if I remember correctly, and the Virgin is a 1 in 100. That one is $125. And then we have the 2 big ones, which are the Kirby Remastered and the Kirby Remastered Black and White. The Kirby Remastered color is going to be a 1 in 500, and that one is $450. And the Kirby Black and White is a 1 in 1000. That's $850. Now, those are pretty well below any of the pricing that you're going to find on any of the major online retailers. In fact, just because I'm going to look up. The Kirby color is $1,000 on DCBS, and we've got it at $450. That gives you any hint of where we're at with things. So the Black and White they've got for $2,000, we've got for $850. So if that gets you excited, and then there is one other Black Panther variant. That's the Olivier Coipel variant. That one is sitting at a 1 in 50, and the price on that guy is $50. Now, I will say this. If you jump in on one of those 1 in 500s or 1 in 1000s and you want to pick up some of those smaller variants along the way, we'll probably knock a few bucks off to help you out because those big ones are big ones to get.
Yeah.
So, let's jump to the next one. The next one is Venom number 1. We have, looks like, 5 variants on that one. And where do we start? Let's start here. Let's start with the Rivera variant. The Rivera is a 1 in 25, Paulo Rivera. And that one is $20. Next, we have the J. Scott Campbell, which is one of the hotter variants out there for the Venom book right now. That one is a 1 in 50. We have it at $80. And then
I saw the cover on that one too. Man, it looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the J. Scott Campbell cover. Well, no. Actually, no. The J. Scott Campbell cover has not been shown yet. The one I think
it was the Domino cover for his that I saw. That's right.
Yes, the Domino, but the Stegman variant has been shown, if I recall correctly. I'm going to double check to make sure. I think the Stegman's out there, and that one's cool. That's a 1 in 100 cover. It's a Virgin of the A cover. It's $85 for that one. And then we've got the 2 really big ones are the McFarlane Remastered and the McFarlane Remastered Black and White. So similar to the Kirby's, you've got the Color Remasters, a 1 in 500, and that's $500. And the 1 in 1000 Black and White Remastered is $1,000. And for comparison, the McFarlane Remastered Color on DCBS is $1,000, so we're 50%.
Awesome.
So that hits up Venom, and then our good old friendly Peter Parker, our Amazing Spider-Man 800. So we've got the Delato 1 in 25. That one's $70. That's the one that everybody's really getting jazzed about. We've got the Delato Virgin. That one is a 1 in 200. That's $400. Then there is the Alex Ross Virgin, which is the Virgin cover of the Virgin version of the A cover. It's a 1 in 500 for $500. And then we have the Color Remastered. 1 in 500 is $500, and the Black and White Remastered is $1,000 for the 1 in 1000. Those 2 do not have cover artists yet named for the remastered cover, so we're not sure yet which cover that's going to be. But, again, our prices are out there, and if that's the kind of the pool you want to dig deep into. Just as a comparison, the colored remastered, the 1 in 500, is going for $2,000 on DCBS, and we're at $500.
Man, not even in the same ballpark.
Nope.
That's awesome. Well, hopefully that answers all your questions, and Eric kind of encapsulated. Oh, one thing. No matter what any of these variants that you order, you get a free cover A. So
absolutely.
That's also a bonus reader copy for you, so you can put this in a top loader, stick it on the wall or whatever, and not have to crack it. You'll have a cover A, so you can read to your heart's content, and that's nice. That's a nice little value add that we appreciate.
Yeah, we're gonna have a few of them laying around. It just made sense.
Well, all right. So let's get back to the show then, and there's tons of stuff going on. We're curious about how you store your comics, Eric, and I'd like to have a little conversation about that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, this kind of came up before we were recording, and the only reason it came up from on my end is because I've decided that I am completely changing how I'm organizing my personal comics. I used to do it by publisher and then by series, and I've just gotten to the point where I don't read in a I'm behind in my reading, as most of us are, and on top of that, my titles are just all mix and match. So I've decided that what I'm doing to change it is I'm just going to straight alphabetical, and then for things like Batman, I'm just doing it by volume. So volume 1, and then the New 52, and then even though Rebirth for Detective is back to volume 1, I'm keeping it separate. So I was just kind of curious what you guys do. For me, I've just decided enough's enough. I need to have a little bit more organization. So if I'm going to read a couple of issues, I can go alphabetically, find where it goes, and drop it in.
That's an awesome way to do it. And ideally, I have mine by publisher and by series and then numerically. I've gotten a little out of hand recently, and now they are by month that I received them in a box, and they're not, and I have to flip through the entire box to find anything because I haven't organized them at all. But ideally, I go by publisher, then by series, and then by the numerically, of course, after that. Kyle, you're probably the same, I'm guessing.
Yep. Publisher, and then alphabetical by series, and then chronologically by number.
Yeah.
So I've also started doing one other thing, which I'm actually pretty happy I did, and I'm going to keep doing it. It was kind of a test at first. So, like, you know how you get the runs that are done, and you're not ready to get rid of them, but you don't want to have to flip through, like, 12 issues of something. Let's say The Fade Out by Brubaker. That's a great example. So I'm not getting rid of that run, but I don't want to have to go through 12 issues just to get to the end of it to find the next thing. So what I did was I got some magazine-size BCW bags, and I'm putting the runs, or like for Revival, my Revival run I've broken up by what's in the trades. So like 1 through 6, 7 through 12, 13 through 20, or however they did it. And I'm putting those in magazine bags and taping those shut. So now I have like these thicker chunks that I can go through a lot easier.
Yeah.
As I'm filing things, I'm finding that to make me very happy.
And it also, it's a sense of accomplishment and completion. And then it also, if you sell it, it's really easy to just grab that out and wrap it up and boom, put it in for shipping. So that's an added value there too. So that's a good idea. I need to get a stack of those magazine bags.
Well, I happen to know a guy.
Yeah.
No, I started doing that, and actually the reason I started doing it in the first place was the button crossover. I had the 4 issues, and I'm like, well, I put this with Batman. I put it with Flash. I don't want to separate them, and so I was like, oh, I'll just put them in a magazine bag, and then they're all together. And I did that, and I was kind of like, oh, I like this. So then I did that with a few other things, and it just kind of spun out from there, and I'm pretty okay with it.
Is a dozen issues about the max you can fit in a magazine bag?
Yeah, I think that's about bursting at the seams. I'm trying to stick more to like the whatever the trades are. if you get a collected edition, because I feel like that's a pretty good breakdown of books. It just makes sense. Like if you're gonna sell it probably in those same runs because they're usually a story arc.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And then I have there's certain books where I'll get every cover that comes out, like the Proposal. I got one of each, the first, second, third, and fourth prints. So I just put those all into one bag and have them together.
There was a fourth print of The Proposal?
Yes.
Same cover? Just like
Yeah, I think it was like a really, really deep red, if I remember correctly.
Shoot, I've got 1, 2, and 3. How many fourth printings you got up there?
I don't know if we've got any.
Yeah,
let me see.
Might be long gone.
Yeah, there was a fourth printing. It was a super deep red.
Neat. You got to pay attention to the sneak peek at next week that we do. Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah.
That's pretty. Interesting. I'll keep my eye out for that. Kyle, I hate to tell you this, but your boy, James Tinian IV, is leaving Detective. Yep, this is his last arc. It's 6-issue arc. And then my boy, Brian Edward Hill, who did the Postal run.
The second half of the Postal run, not the beginning, right?
Well, I think he started scripting with Matt Hawkins at the
sense.
beginning. And then took over solo. But yeah, he's taking over for 2 issues that we know of, and I don't know how long his run will be, or what the plans are for Detective long term. I don't know, Eric. You have any inside dope on what the future of Detective holds?
I don't. I do not, and I like James Tinian IV as well. So I'm kind of hoping that he stays with the DC family and that he doesn't get too far away. But we'll see. I think personally for me, I've liked his stuff.
Yeah, he will, because I'm sure Scott Snyder's got it written into his contract that he has to write 5 or 6 books because it's his boy.
Yeah, well, they actually I kind of talked to James a little bit about that one of the times that we were able to meet up, and he was saying that Scott was actually his one of his teachers while he was in college. He took a writing class with Scott, and they just kind of hit it off while he was in class, and things kind of spun from there. And it was one of those things where it went from teacher-student to more of an instantaneous connection of co-writer and scripter, and they kind of see things the same way. So it was kind of interesting how that all worked. And then the real fun story about all this is that my father-in-law taught physics to James in high school.
That is very interesting. Wow.
Yep.
I think also in that writing class was Marguerite Bennett, because she's also a disciple, and she talks about it was either the writing class or like the workshop that Snyder did as for new writers on DC. But she went through that, and now she's getting more and more DC work out of it. So it pays to be friends with Scott Snyder.
And who'd have known before New 52?
There you go. Well, he was writing Detective, right? And it was a well-received Detective run, wasn't it? Before New 52?
He was. I think it's safe to say that New 52 Batman really put him on the map.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true. I don't know how familiar you guys are with the New Gods, Kirby's New Gods, but they've greenlit a movie directed by Ava DuVernay, who directed that Wrinkle in Time stinker that's not doing too well. But are you familiar with New Gods, and is anybody excited about this movie?
Well, I think anytime Jack Kirby's work is going to get more attention, it's a cause for excitement. Clearly one of the greatest creators of all time in comics, and his fourth world, which had the New Gods in it, was kind of his magnum opus, and I'm excited to see what comes out of it. Hopefully it's better than A Wrinkle in Time. But
now, was Mr. Miracle a new god? Is that where he came from?
I think he came out of the... I'll have to admit, that's one that I get a little bit lost in continuity with. But let me just do this. I'll try and get confirmation for you.
Because I think the Mr. Miracle Tom King that I'm reading right now is probably the first New Gods I've ever read, if it is connected. I think it's some kind of tangential connection to the Was it Fourth World? Is that what the deal is? I've kind of missed out on that whole section of comic history.
Yeah,
and,
it's the Fourth World.
Yeah. So it has a potential to be amazing, and I'm curious about it, and I'm curious about having a new director at the helm. I like that idea, and I like the visual look of Wrinkle in Time. It just doesn't seem to be doing that well in the box office, and that doesn't mean it's not a great directorial effort. I don't know. I haven't heard it. I haven't really seen any of the reviews either, so I can't really.
I mean, they got to try something. Nothing's working, so let's try New Gods. Why not?
Well, I mean, if by nothing's working, you mean they're not doing $1 billion worldwide. They're only doing 600,000 worldwide. I guess that's okay, but I mean, they're still doing okay.
Are they?
But yeah, critically, they're not as well received. Yeah. I get it.
But I mean, we're going to get into Dark Side mostly here is probably the most exciting part of this, isn't it?
Is that come out of New Gods?
Yeah, that's in my opinion what I'm looking for the most. It's essentially DC's answer to Thanos. So, or I believe Thanos is actually Marvel's answer to Dark Side, or verse vice, or whatever it is. But I mean, when you say New Gods and you say new, I immediately think Dark Side.
Since DC came first, I always assume Marvel stole from DC. And historically, I think the timelines line up that way. That Marvel has always stolen ideas from DC and made their versions of one of DC's characters or DC's events or whatever. Pretty sure that's how it goes. There's some corporate espionage going or whatever, and or imitation, whatever. However you want to go for it, but
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, so my initial spitting and sputtering about Mr. Miracle was to confirm that all the Mr. Miracle run is contained in the Jack Kirby Fourth World Omnibus that came out. It's 1,500 pages. It's actually sitting on the bookshelf to my left, but it does have all of the Mr. Miracle and the New Gods stuff in it, so that's all contained, in plus other components as well, but that was what I want to make sure I'm right before I say it, but yes, that's all contained in the omnibus.
Steppenwolf, Darkseid, Orion, Highfather, Mr. Miracle, Metron, Parademon, Infinity Man, the Forever People. There you go. Oh, Doomsday. They're giving Doomsday credit for being in this world. Okay, but maybe not.
There you go. All right. Let's stop talking about what we don't know. So you have an omnibus you haven't read, I'm guessing.
I've read pockets of the stories that are within it, but I have not read this whole thing.
It's only 1,500 pages. I don't know what you're doing with your time.
I don't know what's holding me back. I mean, it's barely even. It's not dense at all. No, I got it in December when it came out, and it's sadly just sat on the shelf, longing at me, along with the other 30 omnibus that I have looking at me.
1,500 pages. That's a monster. We've got DC and Hanna-Barbera crossovers again. So we've got a new batch of these crossovers. I guess the last ones did well enough. And this batch is... What is this batch going to be? I had it right here, and now I've lost it. We've got Black Lightning and Hong Kong Phooey by Brian Hill, Dennis Cowan, and Bill Sienkiewicz, with a backup by Parker and Collins, featuring pre-demon Jason Blood and the Funky Phantom. For you younger guys, do any of those characters sound familiar to you after Black Lightning? Nope. we have an Aquaman and Jabberjaw special by Dan Abnett, Paul Pelletier, and Andrew Hennessy, with a backup by Jeff Parker and Scott Collins, featuring Captain Caveman. Now, do you remember Captain Caveman? Either one of you? Nope.
Nope.
Myself. Captain Cave. You don't remember that? Oh, okay. So I'm old. Features Captain Caveman, the Spectre, and the Wizard Shazam. We all know
Flash. Shazam.
Yeah, you know Shazam. The Flash with Speed Buggy special by Scott Lobdell, Brett Booth, and Norm Rapman. And about Speed Buggy. You guys familiar with Speed Buggy?
Yes.
Speed Buggy, remember. Okay, good. And Super Sons and Dynamut special by Peter Tomasi. So you know Dynamut?
I do.
All right. So I'm not that ancient. You remember some of the same things that I do from a long, long time ago.
Not to make you feel ancient, but I'm pretty sure I remember them from a second run as opposed to you on the first run.
I don't know. I may have seen them in reruns. You don't know that. You don't know exactly when I saw them. But we enjoyed, I think, the first set of these, not as much as like the Batman or the DC Looney Tunes. I think those were a little more successful than the first run of Hanna-Barbera, weren't they? That had the Elmer Fudd, right?
I think the Bat Fudd was definitely the best received out of all of those, but there was some good crossover work with Hanna-Barbera the first time that people liked. I think with all of these, it's kind of a pocket audience thing, and it's you're hitting a certain age bracket, you're hitting a certain sensibility, and then on top of that, there's certain factors that you want to take into account, like who the writer is. If you want to sample but you're not sure, Dan Abnett is always a lock for great writing, so that Aquaman Jabberjaw might be a good one for someone to try out. It's just one of those things where I think they're trying to hit a certain audience, and I also don't know if part of the Hanna-Barbera license being retained means that there's a certain publication amount. And I think that if that's the case, part of it could be that how do you sell Hanna-Barbera properties? Well, sometimes you need to kind of beef it up and add something a little bit more substantial. So the mainline DC Universe characters are going to do that. Now, the Bat Fudd special was something that everybody was kind of leery about, and I don't know if it had ended up with 2 or 3 printings, but it was one of those things where it took everyone by surprise. And I guarantee in one of these there's going to be a sleeper surprise that's just going to be amazing.
Yeah. But they're $4.99, so are you going to take a chance on all of them if you're not really connected to any of those properties? Captain Caveman's the one that I have the most nostalgia for, and it's just the backup in one of them. So I don't know. I might get one.
Yeah, the nice thing is, even though the price is $4.99, they're 48-page issues because those backups. So you're getting a little bit more for your buck.
That's true. While we're on our sentimental journey, it turns out Toys R Us is going to close all of its 800 stores nationwide. And this saddens me, although I haven't been in a Toys R Us in probably 5 to 10 years.
And that's why they're closing.
And that's probably why they're closing. It's my fault. But as a youngster, Toys R Us was a destination and a cool place to be and to check out, along with KB Toys that used to be in malls and stuff. Those were pretty cool, and they're all gone now. So, bummer. Go internet, you win again.
Missed.
Yeah, and I think that the biggest problem with Toys R Us was the whole trend of going online, and I don't know if Toys R Us had a mentality of we're too big to fail, but they certainly didn't push themselves forward quick enough to stay with the trends, and I think that was their biggest downfall. For me, even being the youngest on this podcast tonight, I still have great memories of going to Toys R Us. I remember that was where I went to get all of my original Game Boy games. They had the wall of the paper slips, and you had to take the paper slip up to the front to check out, and then the checkout person had to call someone in the back, and you stood there for 5 minutes going, why can't I just get the game off the shelf? It would be so much easier. But I remember that. I remember getting my first whatever the heck, bike with training wheels. My first real Huffy bike came from Toys R Us. So yeah, I mean, it was a big day when Mom and Dad took you to Toys R Us, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
So it's sad, but at the same time, Toys R Us is now also competing not just with Amazon, but a lot of those toys that you're getting are now becoming Target exclusive or Walmart exclusive or even Walgreens exclusive. So they're fighting competition beyond just internet retailers. So
my best memory of Toys R Us being my first big Super Soaker came from Toys R Us. That was a joy to pick from that gigantic rack, way more than the small things we had in our town.
Drew, do you have a favorite first memory of Toys R Us?
No, all our money was given to Kyle, so I didn't really get any toys.
Money well spent.
So,
well spent.
He'd let me play with the boxes, but that's about it.
He super soaked you while you were picking up that stick on the ground to try and turn into a sword.
Yeah, that was it. DC's getting excited about the Bat and Cat wedding that's coming up, so much so that they are going to do, I believe, 5 one-shots preludes leading up to it. Is that what I'm understanding?
That is correct. Yes, there are 5. They're going to be called Batman Prelude to the Wedding, and there's going to be 5 different books. All of them are going to be written by Tim Seeley, and then they're going to feature different artists for each one. And let's see, what do we have? We have scroll down farther. Robin vs. Ra's al Ghul, which is going to have art by Brad Walker and Drew Hennessy. Then we've got Nightwing vs. Hush, which I think, Kyle, that's the one you're excited about. Art by Travis Moore. Batgirl versus the Riddler, art by Minku Young, I'm going to say. Batman Prelude to the Wedding, Red Hood versus Anarchy, art by Javier Fernandez. And Harley Quinn versus the Joker. I don't think anyone's going to want that book.
Okay, so I want that one. I want the Hush one, and I want the Damien one. But so that's 3 of the 5.
Yep.
So should I get all 5? Do I need the whole set? You got to get the whole set. You can't cherry pick because they're worth more as a set. Okay, that makes sense.
I guess we can call it already and say that there's going to be a Comics for Fun and Profit bundle on all of these.
Absolutely.
We'll go ahead and offer a deep discount on them.
It.
Okay, I like it. That's cool. Yeah, but wait, isn't what issue is Batman on? Because 50 is the wedding, and it's right around the corner.
It's really funny. You were talking about Marvel kind of imitating DC, and now we've got the whole marriage going on with Marvel as well.
Yeah. There's a Colossus and Rogue. Is that who it is? No, Colossus and
Jean Grey.
Jean Grey. Yeah.
Whoever it is, but yeah, I thought that was funny. No, 50 is the wedding. I think that it's going to be. Was it going to be May?
Okay.
May or June that comes out. Let me check. Let's see here. I have the powers. And for those of you that are listening going, God, he runs a comic store. How come he doesn't know all this stuff? Let me tell you.
There's 1,000 books that come out each and every month.
Few billion things going on in my head. I think it's going to be June.
Gotcha.
June.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's going to be an exciting few months there leading up to that. And I hope nothing derails it. There's a lot of naysayers out there that, this will never happen. They'll never let him get married. I hope they do.
Can't he be happy for once?
It's an awful lot of build-up.
Just let him be happy.
Yeah. Just let the happy Batman. That would be kind of neat. That would be a change. So please let this happen. I think we're ready to take a look at the sales numbers and see that both Kyle and I were wrong.
We were.
You want to lead us
on
that
over
one,
Comic-Con, I'm finding the top 300 essentially for February 2018. Drew and I were talking about how close everything was going to be to 100,000. You said neither would make it. No books would make it over 100,000. I said, give me the top 2. And it turns out only one of them made it over the line. Yeah.
Barely.
No, the second one almost made it too.
Close.
Yeah, I guess. Horseshoes and hand grenades. So Dark Knight Rising, The Wild Hunt, does 101,000 copies to retailers. We've got X-Men Red at 98,000. So, Yeah, we were both wrong. We probably should. One of us should have split the difference and went with one. If Eric was here, he could have went. He could have went with one on that one. Batman at 90. Batman 40 at 95,000. Batman 41 at 93,000. Kyle, how close is that to last month's Batman numbers?
It's right. It's right on that.
Batman is. Batman 40 is 543 issues up. And Batman 41 is obviously 1,652 issues down from 40. So we went up a bit. And 41 could end up, as the end of year numbers were to come out, it could end up around that same amount because we're looking at end of the month reporting versus beginning of the month. So,
gotcha. So they can be added. That's true. Another strong Walking Dead. 77,000, and is that up?
It's down.
Kyle,
it was 82,000 the previous month from the big jump, so it's down about 6%.
Still very healthy. We've got Batman White Knight, also at 77,000. Peter Parker comes in at rank 7 at 77,000. So a real cluster there around 77,000 of those three, and then we drop precipitously to Star Wars at 8 to 56,000. Infinity Countdown Prime did 55,000, and rounding out the top 10 is Amazing Spider-Man 796 at 55,000. A value. Is that no? That didn't have any. That didn't have any Red Goblin in it, did it? 796.
796 was the start of when things started getting hot, and I think that one is up to. Is it a third printing? Let me check.
Yeah,
people want it. And so it was like 793, I think, was like the first cameo or something. Is that what it's being billed as?
This is when people really started caring too. This was a big book.
Yeah.
The third printing is due out on April 18th.
So it's just going up.
Ooh,
and,
it's going to be a black and white.
Ooh, okay. Those are good.
So we're going in, and we think we're going to get $250,000 for 798. So it's going to take a heck of a jump without any covers. Right?
A heck of a jump. We talked about Spectacular Spider-Man at rank 7 at 77,000. That's up. The previous issue was 28,000, so we jumped almost 50,000 for that 300th issue.
Legacy numbering,
and then now that we've hit that big thing, we can just throw it in the trash for another 100 issues.
No, it's pretty good.
I like it, but that's what Marvel will do.
Yes, that's true. What else jumps out at you from this list? Any numbers that are interesting?
Just over 50,000. That's good. I like that.
Let's see here.
I like to look at some of the smaller publishers. So I'm looking at Aftershock. Cold War's first issue did 5,000 copies. Rough Riders Ride or Die, that next volume, did 3,000. Kind of DOA on that one. Alters finished up its run with issue 10, and it went out with 1,500 copies. So some problems with getting the big numbers at Aftershock. I still love the stuff they're putting out. It's a really high quality. Wish more people read this stuff.
Yeah, we always include a bundle for Aftershock publishers. They are one of our favorite store publishers, so that's one that we always try and provide as close to break even as we can for everybody, because we definitely believe in what they're doing. They have amazing talent, just great product. The actual physical books themselves are higher quality than a lot of ones out there, and the stories, I mean, just awesome stories.
I've been close to all in on Aftershock, and I don't think a single book has, to any extreme, missed deadlines. I'm looking at you, Black Mask.
Yeah, and Black Eyed Kids is one that was one of my favorites, and it was Joe Pruitt, who I think is also like one of the chiefs at Aftershock, right?
Yep, he's the chief creative officer, and a wonderful guy, and years in the industry, knows a lot of people, knows a lot of great stories that have happened over probably the last 20 to 30 years in the industry, and Yeah, no, it's a great company.
And that was a great 15 issues of Black
Eyed Peas.
Black Eyed Peas. Jeez.
First appearance of Fern.
And he killed his own book. Being the chief guy, he could run that thing forever if he wanted to. But he put it on the shelf. He maybe revisit it later and make some room on their printing schedule for some other things that might catch hold. So hats off. I think that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I'll just call out a couple of quick things. I think the one of the first titles that they had out there was a completely undervalued or underseen book, and that was Dreaming Eagles by Garth Ennis.
Yeah.
And obviously we know Ennis is doing his Jimmy's Bastards run right now in Aftershock, but in this current month's previews, there's another Ennis story coming out. And if you want anything to do with procedurals, war, history, there is no better writer in comics today for that kind of a mix. So Aftershock's got Donny Cates coming over to write a book. They've got Marguerite Bennett, Adam Glass, Cullen Bunn. These are huge names, and they're all going to this, tiny, newer publisher, which is just amazing.
Speaking of Garth Ennis, his 26th issue of War Stories is the sole entry in the top 500. We have 500 here listed from Avatar. I say that because I think next month we should have an appearance by my beloved Crossed that comes back. So I'm hoping that makes a splash because it's been gone for a while. But War Stories is still good, still great Ennis. It's always some different war era, and they're all really cool 3-issue arcs normally.
Yep. Yeah, I think the other thing, too, that's interesting is I'm just looking at some of the DC. We had some of those New Age of Heroes coming out.
Yeah.
So they had the Terrifics launched at $45,000. Another new launch from DC, not in the same vein, though, is Brave and the Bold Batman and Wonder Woman. That launched its first issue, $42,000.
That was really good.
Let's see. We had Sideways #1 at $35,000. So not too bad for initial launches on books that were intentionally delayed due to retailers asking for a couple of months breather with all the Dark Knight's Metal, with Doomsday Clock, all those things going on. We asked if they could push them back a little bit, and they obliged and did that, which was, I think, the right thing to do.
How the covers turn out on those with those weird trifolds?
The gatefold things. The covers are kind of cool. I think it's one of those things where most people picking up one or two of the books are kind of going to be like, meh, whatever. But the ones that are picking up all of them, you can kind of arrange them and make one big, large kind of connecting cover set. So I don't know. As far as gimmicks go, I think for me personally, it was probably one of the weaker ones because it didn't really do much for me.
But as far as damaged, were they well done? I was curious about whether it'd just be kind of a nightmare as far as easy to get torn.
No, they were pretty good. They didn't have too many. I don't think we really had any issues with those. The books that we tend to have the most issues with are Marvel, and then a lot of the main DC covers, especially Marvel. Though the cover stock on it isn't the thickest, and so if there's either a printing error, which is usually the biggest cause for damages, where it catches or there's scuffing, you really see it on those covers. But the gatefold ones seem to be fine.
Yeah, and the actual damage was terrible. Don't read that one. But
from 1 to 2, it dropped
Terrifics was pretty
14,000.
good, and Sideways was pretty good so far.
So damage was damaged. Terrifics was terrific.
I would like to say that, yes.
From Image, we have Kick-Ass, its first issue at $50,000, and Hit Girl down at $39,709. So respectable numbers from them. Curious to see what they go. And of course, Hit Girl went immediately to a second print. And I think Kick-Ass did as well.
From Boom, Judas 3 did 4,700, and Kyle probably didn't order Judas 4. I just got to throw that in there.
He's got a good retailer that hooked him up.
He's watching my bag.
Oh, no way.
Yes.
No, let him twist in the wind, man. Come on. Holy crap. How delayed is Cal Exit from Black Mask down at 248?
17 years.
17 years? Wow,
That's what it feels like.
35 weeks late.
30, holy moly. That's crazy. And in Skyborn, the 5th issue of Skyborn from Boom came out at rank 199, sold 8,000 copies. Frank Cho, it's beautiful, but it's got to be super delayed, right?
Yeah, it's a little delayed.
Swamp Thing Winter Special, under 30,000 for that one.
That was the
Yeah.
Lin Wein. Was that the Lin Wein last one?
Yeah,
or
it had a
something?
Len Wein story, and then it had Tom King
Ween,
was on
King,
it too.
Fabok,
Yeah.
Jones,
Yeah.
Madsen, and Anderson are on the front cover. It's sitting in front of me is how I know that.
Yeah, that one. I got to be honest with you, that one kind of underwhelmed a little bit.
I think of the $8 books that came out about the same time, that DC Holiday Special was much better.
Yes.
Man,
4th issue of... No, go ahead.
over 20,000 on just the reorder of Phoenix Resurrection 1.
That would be the Love of the Art Germ cover.
That's awesome.
If any of you are out there looking for the Art Germ cover, please seek out Cowabunga Comics. They have a few.
Was that a variant?
That was the A.
That was
Yeah,
the
it was
A?
the A cover. Was it A or was it open? I think it was an open order B
Could've been.
cover. And then there was a Virgin variant as the whale.
Marvel does open to order variants?
They
No
do
hoops?
when. Well, so that was the one where I'm saying it was James that caused it. He actually sent an email to Marvel saying, if you make this an open to order, we'll order 1,000. Well, technically we ordered 999 because somebody wanted the A cover of the book, but we ordered 999 of the variant, and they opened up that to open to order, so it unlocked the 1,000, and then they added the Virgin variant with, I think, a little bit of a color touch difference to set.
That's right. It was
an
a
Art Germ
green,
one
green outfit,
apart.
and a red outfit. That's right.
Right.
So Art Germs can be had for a pretty good deal.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, it's a book. It's a cover that, it's going to be good for a long time for multiple reasons. One, it's an Art Germ. Two, it's a number one. Three, it's a female. We all know that like Art Germ, Adam Hughes, J. Scott Campbell, their females do better than their males or their dual covers. It's just the way it plays out. So all those things lead to it being one of those great books where, it's going to be a perpetual double or triple cover. It's probably not going to go ballistic because of the amount that are out there, but it's one of those ones where you can take and go, yep, this one's going to be a good, safe one to have.
And yeah, it's one you can take to shows and stuff and for years to come. You don't have to worry about it sitting and collecting dust in the back room. That's a good idea.
Right. Let's see. I was looking at one. What the heck was I looking at? I remember. It was way down in the 3,000s. So, Drew, you and I are big fans of the Titan Comics Hardcase Crime books.
Yes.
And real holding steady. Minky Woodcock, The Girl Who Handcuffed Houdini. Third issue's out. Dropped 165 copies. So, went from 3,837 to 3,672. The people that are getting those books, they love them, and I've been enjoying darn near all of them.
Yeah, and then even Minky Woodcock didn't start very good for me, but it ended up ending really well. It was really cool how it played on real life history. It was really good. A debut that I really enjoyed was Punk's Not Dead from IDW. Its first issue did 7,000 respectable copies, so it's not too bad. A book that from IDW that went off the rails for me was Kid Lobotomy, and its 5th issue. I think other people thinking the same thing. It's down to 2,800.
Whoa, we talked about Beef number
that's-
1, didn't we? At one point?
Yeah.
Just over 7,000 on that first issue.
Yeah, and
It's
it was really good.
Small run for that. It's a good one to have.
Yeah. Yeah, and for Starkings, he had a 80 issue run on Elephant Men, so I know this is a mini, but he's got some chops.
And Drew, our Bloodborne selling 6,766 copies. I'm going to toss mine 2 up probably in the next couple days.
Yeah, don't sell them as cheap as I did.
15's about the market. Between 15 and 20 is about the market. The real money is if you have the set of all 4, you can ask for 80 to 100.
Yeah.
Now, one of you guys, I think, got the Twisted Romance books, right?
Yep, that was me.
How were they?
They were really good. The one thing I didn't expect was there's a set of a prose essay in the middle of each of them. So you had like a really good short story at the beginning, a really good short story at the end, and then a long ass essay in the middle. And you got to be in the mood for that, right? So I didn't read all of them.
Okay.
Because I skipped through the essays on the first couple, and then I ended up reading the essays, and they were good, and I might end up going back and rereading them. But yeah, I thought they were really good. If you like stuff like Bitch Planet, or Bitch Planet Triple Feature, it had it had that kind of sentiment to it. So if you don't like that, you probably aren't going to like this.
And it was a weekly, if I remember correctly, from when I was pulling them for you guys.
All 4, came out the same month.
Okay.
And me and 3,500 people did it. So
that's right. Well, and you and 3,362 other people did Baby Badass #1, which was coming in at rank 334 from Action Lab.
Yep. And I just added the second issue. So there'll probably be half of those people coming back for that one.
And let's see, we had...
Is that Postal a reprint on Days of Hate?
What number?
Which number are you at?
452. That's reprint, right?
Second printing. 452. Yeah, reorder.
Yeah. So 1,000 copies of a second printing. That's not a lot of copies. So there's some definite value there, I think.
Oh, down at 459, one of my favorite books. I have one of 923 copies of Jazz Maynard #1.
That can't be their first run.
That is the second volume.
That is their. Oh my goodness, that is criminal.
It is good. I know you were reading the trade, I think, of the first run, right?
Yeah, I read the first trade. It was really good.
Yeah. Wonder if there's any value to those.
super.
I usually don't play speculator with modern books, but
So is our True Believers book going to be #1 next month? As I see the other ones down here spread around.
Oh, the ASM 300 reprint, which is already going back for a second print.
Those $1 book went back for a second printing within a week.
Yeah,
and it's going to be
orange or yellow.
It's
or
gold.
Something.
It's going to be gold. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's selling great off the shelf. We brought in quite a few of them, and a lot of people are really happy to get it. I don't know if it's going to top the list, though. I'll have to think of what else is out there.
Anything else in the numbers that jumps off the page for us?
I'm looking for Moon Knight.
He was up around a little bit. A little bit of attrition with it, but not a ton, if I remember correctly.
Toggling.
Number 106, 20,923, down 581 copies.
He's not going to make it to 200, is he?
I think he's got a great sporting chance.
8 more issues of attrition. The 200th issue will sell 5,000 copies.
Well, then the nice thing with Moon Knight is he's actually, because of Lemire and Smallwood's run, he is actually making a lot more of a presence, more so than he ever has before, or at least I should say in recent history. And I think it's because the creative team on the previous run brought a lot of credibility to it, and now you've got the is it Burroughs? Is that who's doing the art from Avatar?
Yep.
Jason Burroughs, yeah, and I think the art is actually resonating with a lot of people on that book, and it's a nice package. So, 2.7% loss over a month. That's negligible. I mean, that can be made up with one. That can be more than made up with a cool cover or something like that. So I don't think that there's anything to sneeze at with the Moon Knight being at 21,000.
But everything underneath it that I'm looking at is ending or canceled.
Or just starting. You've got 110 is Black Panther: Sound and Fury, issue number 1 at 20,000.
Okay, mini, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got Cable. Was that ending?
No, not the
Spider-Gwen is. Champions
Yeah,
is.
Spider-Gwen is, yep.
Jessica Jones is. Gwenpool is. Tales of Suspense has only got a couple more issues left. Scarlet Spider.
You got Ben Reilly down at 15,000.
Poor Lockjaw only sold 14,000.
Miss Marvel will run for eternity, apparently.
Yeah, and I think that's all Scholastic and bookstore market keeping that thing going.
Yep. I mean, which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
You got Legion on issue 2, Runaways on 6, She-Hulk 162. I think you're good.
Yeah.
There's people running interference for you, Drew.
Yeah, maybe. Black Bolt,
Hawkeye at 12,000.
Iceman's ending. Hawkeye's ending. Just read the last issue of it. Oh, there's a lot of stuff that Marvel would have canceled in any other era. I'm surprised they're still letting them
Which
go.
is why Marvel's got a lot of number ones coming out.
Thanos is only selling 7,000 copies. It's so good.
Yeah, which number are you at? Just so I'm...
212.
212. That's reorder activity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Thanos is he's doing just fine, and yeah, issue 13, I want to say is it's like $45-$50 book.
Yeah.
So yeah, Thanos is selling 63. Let's see, yeah, it's number 63 on the list, 29,806. So one of the hottest books right now out there is only 8,000 copies, 9,000 copies more than Moon Knight.
Yeah,
you're doing fine.
Doing fine.
You just got to have a Cosmic Ghost Rider appearance in Moon Knight.
I think that's the key. You're right about that.
Or Red Goblin, one of the two.
Or a team up.
There you go.
Take that Marvel 2-in-1 concept and keep it going.
Anything else in the numbers, guys?
I think I'm good.
I think
All
that's
right,
it
let's
for
take
me.
this conversation over to previewsworld.com. We'll click on click on new releases, and
now we're going to do FOC first.
That's right, we got FOC. Never mind. We've got the final order cuff off them.
Eric's going to drive on this one.
All right. Can you guys see the screen?
I can.
Fantastic. So, should we start where you always like to start in Dark Horse?
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, there's not much for me here. Although, that's more for me. I'm a Michael Chabon fan, and there's a Golden Age superhero, the Escapist Master of Illusion, that trade paperback that might be good.
Didn't Brian K. Vaughan do a run of Escapist?
Yeah.
I have a few of those. I've never been able to get it complete. So I've been waiting to get that last one that I need so I can read it. But that's one of the few Brian K. Vaughns I haven't read.
Mobius fans, there's a Mobius Library Inside Mobius hardcover volume 2. I know there's a few of those out there.
Y'all's last chance to get Action Comics.
Right? Thanks. Go on, let me do this real quick. The Diamond site's been acting kind of funky, so for whatever reason, some of the covers may not want to pop up tonight. But anyways, jumping into DC, we've got all of the Action 1000 goodies. We've got the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s variants. All sorts of good stuff there. $8 book, that's kind of the pain point, but
yeah, it's a seminal number.
First ever 1000 issue I've seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's got a mix of stories from different folks in it, which is awesome, too.
What's the get that Batgirl 21 B cover?
Yeah. The Diamond Sight, of course, just when we want to try and do something fun, the Diamond Sight has to take a crap on us. It was working just fine before. Try and pull it up again. Figures.
No dice. We can
No
go
dice.
Back, we can go back to the
Why don't we look at the peak and we'll see if Diamond's figured out how to reset their server, and we'll try it again after.
Yeah. Kyle, take it
All
away.
right, let's go on into our sneak peek. Like I said, we'll head over to previewsworld.com, click on new releases. We're going to scroll through March 21st, 2018, see what's coming out in your local comic book shops this coming Wednesday. So let's start where we just absolutely love to start. Let's start in Dark Horse.
Where we love to shart.
Everywhere we love it.
We love to shart. We love to
That's
shart
right.
at Dark Horse. Now, Harrow County, this is the 29th issue, and I believe it's done at 30. So we would call that a penultimate here at CFAP, C4FAP, and it's been a fun run. Hats off to Colin Bunn on this, and I'm excited to see how it ends up.
Vinegar Teeth 3, Drew. You sticking with it?
Oh no! I got about halfway through the first issue and said this is not for me, and didn't even finish it.
Department H, flying along. If I remember correctly, we just looked at Matahari's numbers for last month. Not a big seller there.
Yeah, I think there is something wrong with the Diamond site because none of my my covers are loading. Are you having any problem?
Oh, yeah.
So it's not just on your end, Eric. It's also on mine.
Oh, believe me, we know whose end it's on. I will be freely honest. This happened earlier this morning. There was an outage with their site.
So we won't be able to see a lot of these pretty covers. It doesn't look like, but I was interested
Usagi
in...
Yojimbo? We got a jumping on point for you, and you did explain have some interest in the last set of it, didn't you?
Yeah, this is the first time I think it's like, I mean, I've been reading the ongoing, and this is the first time he's done a miniseries for Usagi, I think.
I believe you are correct.
A 7-issue miniseries, so.
Anything else in Dark Horse? Well,
No.
we will slog through and we will guess at B covers for DC.
That is a bummer. I can't read anything.
I'm still on the Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles bandwagon, 5 of 6. Getting both cover A and B on those.
Well, the good thing is you won't have to listen to us read a solicit because I can't open any of them up.
Oh, let's see here. Of course, we know Cho's doing the Harley Quinn B cover. We know Nightwing 41 is going to be unimpressive on the B cover, so that's an easy one there. Second printing of Swamp Thing Winter Special, I believe, if I remember correctly, that is simply a recoloring of the original first cover.
The aforementioned Super Sons issue 4. What, is it ending at 15? Is that what we think? We don't know. We don't know.
Let's see.
Can't remember if it was 15 or what. It's soon.
It probably. I guess if a trade is 6, it's probably going to be 18.
That's what I was going to say. I thought I had 18 stuck in my mind, but
Yeah, that makes the most sense.
yeah.
Alright. Well, I think that's all we can really get out of that. Without the ability to dig deeper. Let's head on down and see what IDW has for us. More Angry Birds, more Dungeons and Dragons.
Another Punk's Not Dead. It's 2nd issue. Should be good. I'm excited. Spider King, I don't remember reading that first Spider King. Did anybody read that from IDW?
Nope.
Nothing there. Gears of War Rise of Rom on issue 3. All right. That's about all I got in IDW. Let's see what's in Image.
Am I the only one reading Dark
Yes.
Fang from Image? It's been fun. 5th issue's out. Death of Love, I'm trying to think of, is that your boy Justin Jordan?
Yes, it is. Yeah. Outcast on 34.
Yeah, still cranking along. Ice Cream Man, its 3rd issue, along with the 2nd printing of issue 2.
Yep.
That's turned into, from issue 1 to issue 2 was a pretty cool transition, and you kind of see where the series is going to go, and I really like it a lot more now after reading the 2nd issue.
Very cool.
It's kind of like almost Tales from the Crypt, Twilight Zone type thing, where the Ice Cream Man in the truck is kind of the connecting thread, but it's different stories, and at least through the first 2 issues. I don't know if they'll revisit that original story or not, but I thought it was really good.
They've been creepy covers, that's for sure.
Yeah. Killer Be Killed with its 17th issue. Do we know an end in sight for this? What the number is?
And
It's
it's been
good.
optioned, so I
And
imagine they're going to keep going until they figure out what's going on there.
It took a real turn last issue, so I'm psyched for this one. See what's going on.
Azzarello puts out another Moonshine.
Yeah, it's been a while with the Virgin cover. Now, Monstrous is one I tried to read again because it's such
Is that
critical
number
acclaim.
1 still high? I should sell that.
You should. And I went back and read that first trade, and I think I liked it a little better than I liked it before. I don't know if it's must read for me, but I did give it another shot, and it's I can see the appeal.
Yeah, I like it. The art is just breathtaking.
Yeah.
We have an Outcast sighting.
Yeah, what is it, 34? Yep, 34.
My Stray Bullets, David Latham's book, is on 33, and I think it ends. I think it's going to end every time. It looks like it's going to end, and then they just keep cranking them out. So, a lot of good stopping points on these issues, but they just keep trucking along. It's pretty cool. You reading the new Rumble?
I'm more. No, I'm not. I still like it, but yeah, haven't got to it yet.
Now, are those Walking Dead bobbleheads? What are those?
Those are. You got 2 action figures and then 2 packs of action figures. Yeah, they're action figures. I don't think that those are pops.
So
They're just straight up action figures, 6 or 8 inch action figures.
So some are just regular and some are bloody. And does
Yeah.
that depend on the retailer that will carry them?
They look like independently orderable ones. So if your retailer gets those, they should be whatever they would normally order. If they order just the straight up color regular ones, you'll get that. Or if they tend to order a little bit of a mix, you might get a mix.
But what's the why are there 2 markets? Is it because of, nobody wants to see, like a more conservative store wouldn't have bloody characters but would order the other one? Is that it? Or is there actually a market to have a regular one and a bloody one? Are there collectors out there that want those?
I think there's a completionist mentality that will drive people to buy both, and I think that the other part of it is they can they can produce both and sell both, so they will. They probably could have made it a 2-pack and just been able to interchange pieces, but you make more money this way.
Interesting. That's all I had from Image.
Yeah, a lot of stuff coming out from Image this week, though. Big week from Image. All right, let's head on down and see what Marvel has for us.
We've got the second printing for $7.96 ASM.
Yep.
And Avengers has been doing some stuff. Sticking some characters in there. We had Ultimate Hulk last week.
683 had the Hawkeye head random swap of roughly 1 in 7.
So I'm curious what's going on.
But they didn't do that the next week, right? Huh.
Correct. They haven't done it for the 2 subsequents. Or at least, well, I shouldn't say that. We haven't seen 685 yet, but they did not do it for the Hulk.
We've got Thor 705 with some Art Germ variant covers. Are those 1 in 10? What is the...
I would tell you for certain if I could open up the stinking Diamond page. But Diamond really knows how to kill a party, so let me see if I can find it through another means, because I think I have another way.
This is the one. This could be it, right? This could be an actual death. 705.
Could be.
Is that right? We'll never know, because we are reliant on technology, and our technology is failing us.
Curse you, Diamond.
I mean, don't they know we record on Friday nights, and they need to have this thing tip-top?
Or maybe they could... I'm sorry. I work in the tech industry, so my mind goes, gosh, this is easy to prevent. It's called a failback. Not like they're the only business that actually handles this stuff. Oh, wait a minute.
It's like we're stuck.
January 180891.
So yeah, we could get a death in 705. We are nearing the end of Jason Aaron's run, so...
Yeah. It's got to be like 705, 706.
Good looking book, though, man.
And Eric has attached the order code to a carrier pigeon and has sent it out for information. We'll return.
Right. We have an Art Germ. We have a Ribic. We have a Hyung. Got a standard, and then they added that Art Germ Virgin on later.
So it looks like the Art Germ regular is like it's pre-selling online for $4. So it looks like it's just an open order, and then I'm not sure what the ratio is on the Virgin.
Yeah, those Virgins are expensive. Get you every time.
Thanos 17. I think this is must read. It's really been fantastic writing. A cool new character. We got to get his backstory. It's been fun. Who knows what 17 has to within its pages, but it could be something really cool because everything else has been really cool. So, you got to get this. You got to be reading this.
Of course, Weapon H #1. So, Weapon H starting its own book. $5.
Wait a minute. Oh, it's Weapon X.
Yeah, we did Weapon X. Okay. Now we have Weapon H. Specifically.
That's the Hulk, all right. And these True Believers Venoms are Dark Origin and Flashpoint. Okay. Not as collectible as some of the other Venoms.
Star Wars
ones.
Is that an issue 45?
Not crazy.
My carrier pigeon came back.
Okay.
I don't know what the Virgin is because that came in late, but I know the Hyung variant on Mighty Thor 705 is a 1 in 50.
Wow. Now these X-Men Golds, we're ramping up to a wedding issue. Do we just pop in on the wedding, or is there anything going to be leading up to this, a la the proposal, that we should be looking out for in the pages of these X-Men Golds as we lead up to that?
Well, I can read the Thalithit, provided I can get to the right line. Thank you, Diamond, again. 180-993. And Drew, you didn't think you'd be able to read solicits.
Can't go without that.
Jeez. Cruel and Unusual Part 2. The new X-Men Gold are doing their best to protect people from the likes of the Shredded Man and other battles. But pretty soon, a threat bigger than they can imagine will be on their doorstep. Something has survived the negative zone and it wants revenge. Rated Teen Plus.
No wedding tie-in.
What is Iron Man's Hong Kong Heroes? I don't remember it from a solicit is the biggest thing. I'm just like, I don't even remember seeing that.
No, I don't either.
I remember reading that 908. All right. Let me just, it's easier if I just go to the fact. Sorry if you can hear me flicking my mouse in the background. All right. Is this one 908?
906 is the legacy, and then 907 and 908 are the variants.
Are you scrolling through a spreadsheet?
Sure is.
So
all right.
Lines and lines and lines of and columns and rows. Oh my goodness.
The Marvel Universe story of Disney's newest and coolest attraction, Stark Expo Hong Kong, the place to unveil the latest and greatest in cutting-edge technology. But even as Tony Stark and Wendy Wong introduce the newest futuristic tech in the Stark Emergency Response Exosuit, an evil from the past strikes. The sinister Baron Mordo has teamed up with Arnim Zola in a diabolical merging of next-gen technology and ancient dark magic. It'll take a titanic team-up of Avengers to protect the Expo, but who will wear the prototype exosuit? And will it be enough to fend off this lethally evil force? Featuring Captain America, Black Widow, Hulk, Black Panther, and the introduction of an all-new armored hero. You won't want to miss this one. Rated Teen Plus.
Okay. I vaguely remember that solicit from previous.
Do we want to see an all-new armored hero?
Oh, man. Do we need another one?
Well, we've gone at least, 4 months without one?
Yeah.
Without a new one?
But we probably don't need a Red Goblin either.
Yeah, but that's kind of cool.
Or a Cosmic Ghost Rider, but we got them and they're cool.
I don't know. I think
might be something there.
I think I'm gonna go out and pick up. I can't decide whether I need to pick up some of the Ironheart series, the first ones of that on Iron Man, because I'm trying to figure out what they're gonna do in the MCU universe. I have this weird sneaking suspicion they're gonna kill off Tony Stark and replace him with T'Challa's sister in kind of a reinterpretation of the Riri Williams storyline. So that's
wow.
kind of
that would be cool.
I'm just from looking at trailers and thinking they're going to do something big in the Infinity Gauntlet movie. I'm trying to figure out how that ties back into that, and that's kind of what I'm looking at right now.
What's the first appearance of Riri running now?
I mean, it's a different character, but
$10.
I think they're going to kind of take the spirit of that Ironheart thing.
Well, and you've got Robert Downey Jr., his movie contract's coming up here pretty quick, I think, isn't it? To be finished with his 9 films or whatever.
And then you can have him, if he wants to stay on, he can just essentially be... Isn't he essentially AI now? Or he had a storyline where he was just Jarvis?
Yeah.
He
can
just
AI.
do that.
He's back. I mean, they found him. So he's around again. Spoilers, sorry.
Oh, man.
Cancel my pre-order. But that's just something from looking at the different Iron Man stuff. That's just something specking around because the Infinity Stone or Infinity War trailer is on my mind. So somebody's got to die, and I'm trying to figure out how and why.
Somebody's got to die?
I'm sure they're going to kill Loki, and it's either going to be Cap or Iron Man's got to die too, I think.
No way. Just because the actors are
just
getting
because
older?
we haven't killed anybody.
All right.
Or maybe I read too much Walking Dead. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if they will kill anyone. That'd be
Yeah, they're
neat,
killing.
though.
They're killing
I mean, it'd be
somebody. I think
different.
it's Iron Man. I don't know. Try to figure that out. All right. Anything else in Marvel? Sorry to take us off on a tangent. Let's head out to the smaller publishers. Our Archies, our Onis, our Booms.
This is all Eric because I don't know anything about any of these because I didn't do any research.
Of course, Baby Teeth 9 we know as Aftershock.
Yep. Let's see here. So, Archie is obviously Archie. Baby Teeth is Aftershock. Barbarella is Dynamite.
I can't remember Lucy Dreaming.
Squarriors. There's a Squarriors. That's been a long time coming. The third issue of that. I have no idea what's going on in the story anymore, but it's Ashley Witter and Aj Masco, and it's a beautiful, beautiful comic to look at. But I can't remember.
You didn't get a
what's going
preview
on
of that
in the
one?
story. It's been so long.
Yeah.
I did.
Well, not a whole lot back here, actually. Quantum and Weddi on 4.
Young girl.
I do know the contents of Jungle Fantasy Survivors. I know exactly what's in those.
How are those, Drew? Are they good?
Oh man, Shakespearean.
Real rich character development?
Yep.
Pathfinder Spiral of Bones, #1. What? I'm not sure. The only thing that intrigues me is I see a cover B and I see the name Lau. That's just what I'm unaware if that's a missed art germ or not, or if it's a Johnny Lau. That
Let's
I've missed.
look. Jonathan Lau.
It's Jonathan Lau.
Yep. Good Lord. Diamond, you're a
We're
killer.
in trouble, fellas. We're in trouble. This is gonna be a tough.
Well,
tough
luckily,
sneak.
I think we've given enough information on other things that this we can give a subpar sneak and still be okay. I think.
Oh yeah. I think the listeners got their money's worth
yeah.
for sure, but it's not up to our usual in-depth analysis of
All
what's
right.
going
Is there anything that stuck out to any of our minds as kind of the big books this week, even as we struggle through?
This is a little bit late, but I did find a site that we can look up covers on. Here's what I'm going to do.
Eric, I think that should.
Put that there, just in case you want to check a cover. Let's see. What's the pickup?
I mean, keep doing Batman now in anticipation for the wedding, or
Oh yeah, you got to get all these.
you gotta make
back.
Yeah.
sure you're getting.
You've got to be
I think
all
that's
If
in.
you're not doing
obvious.
Batman, start
Yeah.
now and be all in through the wedding.
Yeah, and I'm kicking myself for not being A and B covers on them.
That's from our FOC stuff. That is the one that everybody should be aware of. Even though we're jumping out of what's coming out to the FOC, but the Batman, was it 44? Drew, I think, was the one that we saw that they originally were going to have a tiered system for the covers for A and B, where the Batman cover with him in the tux was going to be it was a 70-30 or 60-40 or something like that. But it was a tiered one, and they've since changed that, so it is open to order for the B to get the Catwoman in her wedding gown. So that's one where people want to pick up sets. I think that would be something from an FOC standpoint to be aware of.
So that was 42.
We just had 43 come out next week, so we're talking 44.
Yep.
Oh, okay, 44.
Yeah. So 44, there is a cover A of Batman looking in the mirror or Bruce in looking in the mirror at Batman and Selena looking in the mirror at Catwoman, that are now open to order. You want both of them. You don't just want one of them. And a lot of people are going to miss out on Catwoman.
So that's the FOC thing. That's not the spec pick for next week. So those of you that are going asking for Batman 44 are going to be sorely mistaken.
Yeah, it's 43 this week. So,
but just an FYI for 2 weeks from now or whatnot.
Yes.
Yep.
So if we're doing our picks, I am going to go with Thanos.
Yeah.
Because I have a feeling there's something in it that's going to make it hot. Because most of these have been hot. So I'm gonna roll the dice on Thanos, even though I can't read the frickin' solicit.
Would you like me to?
Sure.
Okay. Let me see here. Let me just pull this hair thing. Oh, that's a striking cover, let me tell you. Whew. Thanos wins part 5. All right. It's in the Skypes for you to look at the cover. It is Thanos and his future self take on the most powerful opposition his reign left in the universe, Norrin Rad. Can even two Thanoses crack his cosmic shell? Parental advisory.
Why is it $8? Oh, that's this site. This site has it for $8.
Yeah, it's $3.99. I don't know who these jokers are kidding, but Norrin Rad.
Norrin Rad,
Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
That's gonna be good.
Yeah. Well, it's been great. I mean, I think most of my picks would be in Marvel.
They've definitely been the hot one. Avengers 685.
Yeah, that's mine. Is that
Mighty Thor
variant on Mighty Thor 705, and we're not hoping for death. Maybe we're hoping something big happens.
Yeah, and I'm curious now about the Iron Man that you mentioned. Yeah.
Yeah. Do we even have an Image number 1?
No, there's no number 1s from Image this month, or I'm sorry, this week.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't think that the Virgin covers are really gonna move the needle. I mean, they're gonna be really cool, but I don't know if they're gonna.
They're not gonna drive traffic to the shops, I don't think.
Yeah, got Usagi Yojimbo one, but I don't know how well that's gonna. Yeah, I think Marvel's the place to be looking right now for your spec money.
So make sure you're checking Thanos. Make sure you're checking Avengers. Pick up the Iron Man book, flip through, and see what this new person's looks like.
Yeah, pull it off the shelf. They love that, right, Eric? They love that at retailers when you read the books right there in the shop.
I've just become ignorant to it.
And Weapon H, I got no, we've already seen the first appearance of that character, but they might be doing something cool in it, so I'm curious to see where they go with it.
That thing leveled off. It's still hot. The first appearance. Yeah.
You can still make money off it if you got one, but it doesn't appear to be continuing to go up necessarily.
Well, because it's March, we came in with like a lion in this show, and we're going out like a lamb. Take us home, Kyle.
All right. I want to thank you guys for listening to Comics for Fun and Profit. Thank you for following Drew, Eric, and myself as we ran through comics originally coming out March 21st, 2018. We're going to tell you guys to do a little of your own homework. Unfortunately, we are behind an 8-ball this evening with Diamond solicited items. So we've got a few ideas out there for you. We've given you a whole lot of information on the upcoming worlds in our comic books. Some of the neat stuff to look forward to. Some deals out there and all kinds of stuff. So we want to thank you guys once again. Of course, you can reach Drew or myself through the Comics for Fun and Profit, either on our Facebooks, our Twitters, or through the site. Send us a Gmail. And, of course, Eric can be reached at Cowabunga Comics online. So, for Eric, Drew, and myself, see ya.